Charlie, we're outside Stamford Bridge. We just lost 2-1 against Brighton. I know you weren't at the Madrid game. Not a great performance out there. It seems like not really a lot has improved, but we can say we scored at least.
That's the only positive today, mate. We somehow managed to score a goal, and the only way we were ever going to score a goal was by getting a massive deflection, and the keeper was not able to do anything about it. Other than that, mate, Brighton came in and they taught us a footballing lesson. They schooled us, mate. They absolutely embarrassed us. They ripped us apart from the moment they went a goal behind. For the rest of the game. De Zerbi's got them so well drilled that everyone knows exactly what they're doing. Everyone knows their place in the system. Everyone does their job. You see players going off. Evan Ferguson went off injured. Welbeck comes on. He fits seamlessly into the system. Everyone knows what they do, and you can tell what a functioning system and a functioning team looks like when you just put any players in the positions and it works. And we are a million miles away from that. And the fact that we're in a situation now where we're in a point where Brighton are a miles better footballing team than us, we're banging trouble. And that's really the situation, mate. We can be 4 at the back, 5 at the back, 6 at the back, whatever at the back you want. We're shit. It's as simple as that.
And the fascinating thing about Brighton is it all stems from the top. It all stems from the ownership, the board, the management, and it sprinkles down to the players.
Yeah, and people mocked Potter, and he didn't do the best here for sure. But that all comes from him. The foundations that he set there, the guy, Win Stanley, all the scouting and stuff in there. De Zerbi's come in and he's carried it on and he's improved it. But the foundations are all there. We've got no foundations. What are we building from? We're building from nothing. We're building from scratch, mate. We've got no idea. We've got no clear plan. We don't really know what we're doing. We've got no manager. We've got a load of players that don't want to be here. We've got guys that no fight, no passion, no desire. You've got a team that looks utterly clueless. They've got no idea what's going on. Mate, we're an absolute mess. And, I'm not saying that when new owners come in, it's going to be a seamless transition, because it's not. And owners get things wrong. But we have to look at the owners in this situation. And I look at it and I think, I don't necessarily think the decisions they've made are wrong. The timing of the decisions is fucking horrific. If you're going to sack Thomas Tuchel, sack him before the season starts. Don't let him have a transfer window. Don't let him do a pre-season with the players and then bring a manager in with a completely different philosophy and try and get that to work halfway through a season. You either get rid of him at the start of the season or you get rid of him before the World Cup, and then you've got that World Cup break to bring someone else in. And then don't get rid of Graham Potter with 10 fucking games to go. There's no point. Lampard's been here 3 games now. We might as well still have Potter here. What's the point?
I mean, Potter had to go. Come on, Charlie, we both said it.
No, he did. But what I'm saying is the timing of it is ridiculous. He should have gone months ago. It makes no difference changing him with 10 games to go. And you bring Lampard in for 10 games. What are you hoping to do? Everyone goes, it's going to be a new manager bounce. Oh, Super Frank's back. Lampard is not a good manager. There's been no new manager bounce. There's been no lift. There's been no improvement from any of the players. We're literally, all we're doing is we're just going to be shit with Lampard in charge. And that is it. And they've got a lot to answer for. They've got to get these next decisions right, because this is what's happening right now, is that as a result of from what's going on the top, it's filtering down. It's a mess at the top, and it's a mess all the way from the top to the bottom. And until that gets sorted, until we get the right people in place and the right players in place, the right manager in place, we're going to get worse and worse and worse. And I said it, and I wasn't being overreaction when I said it. I said when Lampard was appointed, we're not going to win another game this season. And I still stand by that.
Yeah, I mean, you would have thought at least there'd be a bit of energy. I know we lack quality and confidence, but just the press, the foundations. I mean, the football we played when Lampard was here last, I enjoyed it. I would say Lampard's first season in charge of Chelsea was one of the most entertaining seasons as a match-going fan I've ever been to. The football matches were great. The style was played. The fight was there. I was there when we came back and managed to claw a result against Ajax in the Champions League. These are the things that Frank had, and we never had that with Graham. I just don't understand why the players can't respond more to him, because he's trying, but he's not getting anything back for his efforts.
No, but he's not a good manager. That's the end of the day, mate. He speaks well. He knows the club inside out. He's just a passion merchant at the end of the day, mate. He says the right things. He knows what to say. Well, actually, when it comes to getting an actual improvement out of the players, he can't do it. He speaks well in the press conferences. He says the right things. But when it really comes down to it and making a difference and man management and improving players, he's not doing it. And, you can say that he was good in his first season when he was here last time with, the transfer ban and Hazard gone and we got top 4. Great. That was 3 years ago. Things are totally different now. But he's got no better as a manager since he was last here. And I don't know what we're expecting. Why do we expect anything different from someone that is not a good manager? And why are we expecting anything different from these players that have let us down every single fucking week from the moment we started this season to where we are now? We are halfway through April and we still haven't hit 40 points. And then we're resting players for Madrid on Tuesday night. We're resting players. What for? We're going to get fucking humiliated. Why are we resting players? We need to be taking it one game at a time. Make 6 changes. People hammered Graham Potter for changing the lineup every single match. Lampard's doing the same thing. Why have we got half an hour on Tuesday? And we can't even win a fucking match in our own league. Why are we looking at Champions League thinking we're going to score 3 goals without reply against Real Madrid? Is there something wrong with us?
Well, I think I can only speak from if I was Todd Bowley or the board, I would be only focused on the Champions League because at the end of the day, that's where the money is. That's where our last hopes of gaining any extra revenue are, because we're not going to be finishing in any European spot space in our league form.
No, of course we're not. And Tuesday night, Madrid will be there, and you know what, we're going to get battered, but it'll be the last time we play Champions League football for a while. So you might as well enjoy the occasion like that, watch some world-class players play, and then hope that we might be back. Won't be too long before we get there. But just today, mate, everything was shit. We just didn't do anything good. There was a little bit of urgency when we went 2-1 down, but other than that, there was nothing. You know, the midfield, we got dominated. Absolutely dominated. Matoma was ripping Chalobah apart every single time in that first half.
What a player.
What a player. Evan Ferguson, 18 years old, come from the fucking Irish League. You know, they've plucked him out of there. Looks a fantastic player, was really good. Obviously, lucky when he went off. Welbeck comes on and scores against us, like he always fucking does. And like in midfield, you can see why we were looking for Caicedo and we put bids in for him. Good player. McAllister, good player. You know, they're such a well-drilled unit, a well-coached team with a good manager, good players, great scouting system. All the foundations are in place. A properly well-run football club. Everything that we aren't right now. And that's not going to happen overnight. That takes a long time to happen. And people that are saying, oh, it's going to get better next season. It might get a little bit better, but we're not going to suddenly be challenging for the top 4 places next season. Just like that. You know, we've got a lot of work to bring in. We've got to bring in a striker, a defensive midfield player, a goalkeeper. And that's just for starters. That's just the spine of the team. We've got no spine. Every team that is a good team has got a good spine, and we don't have that. So,
who do you think we can build that spine around, based on the players we currently have?
Players we currently got. You're looking at Fofana and Badiashile as centre half. You're looking at Reece James, who, by the way, was miles off it today. He needs surgery on those hamstrings, whatever the problem is, because he just doesn't look at it at all. James, Chilwell, Fofana, Badiashile, Enzo. And then I guess the likes of Mudryk and maybe Joao Felix if he stays. But ultimately, mate, we spent all this money and we haven't addressed really that many of the key areas that we need to address. We're still missing the 3 most important places on the pitch. So, mate, we're in for a long run. But today, it was embarrassing again. And you know, the worst thing is just used to it now, just expect it. Wake up this morning, didn't expect to win this game at all. And, you know, we just get let down week after week. And, you know, the manager will come out and say, oh, you know, they've got to believe in themselves more. They've got to learn what it's like. They've got to learn what it's like to play for the badge. Yeah, all great. Do something about it. Like, you know, whatever you're saying is not translating to them. Like, and I can understand it as well. Like, you look at it and you might think, well, why are players going to listen to someone that's here for 10 games and is fucking off in the summer? Why would you do that?
Makes sense.
I mean, I wouldn't do that because I think it's totally unprofessional, but you can understand it from a footballing perspective. Like, why are you going to listen to Frank when he's not here? He's here for 10 games and he's going.
There's no point of trying to impress him. It's not like you're going to be playing for him next season.
No, but I look at his decisions today and I just have to question some of them. Hakim Ziyech doesn't want to be here. He was in Paris and he would have been in PSG if we hadn't fucked up the paperwork. And yet he's getting minutes ahead of the likes of Madueke. Why is he even in the squad? Why is Aubameyang in the squad? If you're 2-1 down and you need a goal, that you're only centre forward and you're not using him, what's the point of him even being in the squad? You know, looking at his decisions today, poor decisions. And in-game management, terrible. His coaching's terrible. He's not a good manager. He's just a familiar face and a club legend that tries to give the place a lift. No lift whatsoever. The sooner this season ends, the better. The sooner we clear out the vast majority of this squad, the better. And the sooner we get a new manager, the better. And we just have to hope that, you know, in the summer that, you know, we can try and turn things around. And by the way, people hammered Kepa on a Wednesday night in Madrid. Tell you what, mate, it would have been 4 or 5-1 if it wasn't for him today. So I'm not saying he's the right answer long term, but credit where credit's due. He kept it from being an absolute humiliation for us today. But we go to Madrid Tuesday, mate. No expectations. Let's just enjoy our last Champions League games for a number of years, and we see what happens.